He has no basis to do that. He's just a political hack who's trying to build a name for himself, and I think that's fine because that's what they do. But there would be no reason to do that. No other politician has to go through that. It's called presidential harassment, and it's unfortunate, and it really does hurt our country.
President Trump blasting Congressman Adam Schiff and Democrats as they get ready to launch sweeping investigations beyond the Russia probe. This time, they're going to look into tax returns, personal finances, and business deals from the decades before Trump's presidential campaign. The president tweeting that Republicans never did this to President Obama, while slamming the probe as, quote, a continuation of the witch hunt. The president also declaring, quote, presidential harassment. It should never be allowed to happen again. But could this aggressive approach backfire? 2020 Democrats apparently tiptoeing around the Mueller probe. According to Politico, and here I'm quoting, Democrats vying for the White House want to talk about anything right now but Robert Mueller's Russia probe. But the 2020 race is inevitably going to keep coming back to 2016 and what the special counsel uncovers. Jesse, I was struck. He says this is political hack Adam Schiff. He says there's no basis for it. Presidential harassment, nuts, a witch hunt, never happened before. And I thought, this comes from the guy who did the birther stuff?
Well, at least he got his name right. What did he call him last time? Adam what?
Oh, I don't want to get it there, you know.
Here's what I think, Juan. If you want to look at foreign financial influence on politicians, what about the Clinton Foundation? They got $25 million from the Saudis. Or what about the $1 million Russian dossier? That tried to influence elections. I want to be fair and balanced about it, too. I think Whitewater was probably a witch hunt also. There really wasn't much there either. But if you do look inside the Trump organization, I'm sure you're going to find a little something or other. Look, every bank on Wall Street has paid hundreds of millions of dollars of fines to regulators. Every pharmaceutical company, every energy company, you can always find something there. Take a look at Congress. They settle multi-million-dollar harassment lawsuits. And they're pointing the fingers, the media companies. They're firing all their executives and talent because of sexual misconduct, paying out class action lawsuits. Everybody's got something, and if you look really deep. I just think the president is thinking to himself, this is 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I didn't know I was running for president. I was trying to make money. I didn't need to run for president. I didn't need the money. I sacrificed all this because I was trying to save America from going over the cliff. I wouldn't give him anything. I wouldn't give him the tax returns. I'd say leave it alone.
Well, the tax returns, in fact, are a hot item right now, Dagan. The president has said, you know, all of this is, what did he say at the State of the Union? A ridiculous partisan investigation, right? And made the case that really it is, as he described it, harassment. But I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, most presidents do release tax returns, and they're going to go now, potentially in the next 2 to 3 months, to get the tax returns, possibly to see if there was Russian influence in terms of his finances. What do you think?
Here's my guess of the Democrats' game plan. And by the way, don't you think Bob Mueller and his special counsel team have the doggone tax returns? Yes, they do. So the Democrats have been wringing their hands about, he's going to fire Mueller, that POTUS. So they have to wait now and wait for the report or reports to come out. So what are they going to do? The plan is to get every ounce of information on President Trump and his family to just embarrass him before the 2020 election. You remember that early October New York Times report about the family finances, Trump's tax schemes, and then reaping riches from his father. That was a roadmap to what the Democrats are going to do as they wait for the Mueller report to come out, because they can't talk about impeachment. Remember, Nancy Pelosi said during the midterm elections, stay away from impeachment, and it did work for him.
So, Dana, what do you think? Do you think that the Democrats may be getting over their skis here?
Yes, there is always the tendency to overreach. And in this case, in particular, I think when you're looking back, it's not like there isn't enough for the government to investigate, the Congress to investigate in terms of the current administration. I mean, everybody talks about what's happening at the White House. What about 10 years ago? I mean, have you heard one thing about the Department of Energy in the last, 2 years? Like, where is everybody? Like, there's nothing being done in terms of oversight for those departments and agencies, and that's what Congress was set up to do under the Constitution. I also think that the Democrats must think that Mueller investigation is not going to be the scalp that they wish. So that's why they're like, now we better start planting seeds, because it's not going to be enough to snuff out his re-election efforts. The other thing is the left wing really wants this. And so you have to think about what the Republicans are going to push back. But the Democratic 2020 candidates, as reported in Politico today, they don't want to talk about Robert Mueller. They want to win the presidency. And the Mueller investigation is not the path to the presidency.
But do you think, Greg, that, in fact, the voters, when they gave the Democrats control of the House, were looking for a check on the president? I mean, Devin Nunes, when he was in charge of House Investigations Committee, I mean, he was basically working for Trump. So this is the other side now. Now you have a committee that's going to go after Trump.
Yeah. I will go with what Dana said. She hit the nail on the head. This is about Mueller. He doesn't have anything. So why are they running for this stuff? Because they realize his investigation isn't going to reap the rewards that they want. So now it's a big letdown. So now they're returning. It's like Reanimator. They're going back to the dead stunts of the past, and they're trying to infuse them. So, like, it's a now it's the tax return corpse that they're trying to breathe new life into, because nothing else has worked. VH1 should do a Where Are They Now on all of these scandals, because they pop up. Trump's insane. Where did that go? You know, the BuzzFeed story. Where did that go? How come we still don't know who was behind the BuzzFeed thing? I have advice for these perennial losers. Why not try to win the presidential election? You got 2 years. Find a candidate. And the only reason why I think they aren't doing that and they're doing this is because they don't think they can win.
Right.
So if they can't beat them, they want to cheat them. They're like those players in soccer when they know they can't win, they fake an injury and they fall. That's their only way to beat Trump, is they make up a penalty. And that's what's going on. But I do believe, to your point, this is about them knowing that the Mueller thing is not going to give them what they want. So now they're digging into the cemetery for dead smears, and they found the tax returns.
And you know what? You say tax returns to anybody, you know what they do?
But, yeah.
Well, that's why that story you mentioned last November that the New York Times had, it was like 18,000 words. It didn't go anywhere. And the Democrats are so frustrated about that.
Well, I think people, even in the conservative echo chamber, have heard about Mike Flynn and Paul Manafort and people going to jail. I think we've heard about that.
That's true. We have heard.
More
Are you
trouble
saying this is a
and
conservative echo
controversy
chamber?
brewing for Elizabeth
Echo chamber, echo chamber,
We'll tell you
echo
about it.
chamber.